Chosen one.
Fan 101, and I'm here today to give my in-depth review of the new episode of Star Wars Rebels. Now, this was supposed to be a reaction, which I do have some footage. I'll put that at the end of this video. But it kind of fell apart like 20 minutes in because, you know, my recorder battery was dying. And that's my fault. That's my fault because I didn't really charge it all the way before I started with the shows I reacted to. So that's my fault. But now I'm here to talk about this episode in depth. So the Rebels are in hyperspace, right? And while they're there, they talk to General Organa, and they say that they have to go to the planet Geonosis to find Saw Gerrera, and they basically have to rescue him. And so they get to planet Geonosis. They're walking in the caves. Well, like they get to Geonosis. Hera makes the teams and splits them up. Like they sent Ezra, Kanan, and Rex to go find Saw Gerrera, while they sent Sabine and why do I always forget his name? Why do I always forget his name? Dang it. Oh yeah, that's right. She sent Sabine and Zeb to go look out for Saw Gerrera as well. So so Ezra and his group are walking down in the caves, and Kanan senses something that's there inside the caves. And he says, like, no, this is a bad idea. We have to go back. And Ezra says, no, we have to keep moving. So, of course, they keep moving, and they keep going down the caves to find Saw. And they come across clankers, and they're shooting at them. They're blocking them with their lightsabers. But then someone in the shadows is shooting the clankers. And, you know, he's taking them all out. And, of course, we all know that this is Saw Gerrera. They, like, the Rebels, they don't know this yet. So, we cut back to, Sabine and Zeb as they're walking through, the desert. Well, as they're walking through, like, a sandstorm. And while they're walking through it, they actually find some military grade generators, and basically this emits a giant shield that can protect them during battle. So Sabine's like, hey, we gotta take this to the ship so, you know, we can use it. So you know, they start to take it to the ship, and then we cut back to Ezra and his group when they find Saw Gerrera, and Rex, you know, shakes his hand like, hey, how you doing? And then, little fun fact, I said this in the part of my reaction. I said that, Forrest Whitaker actually came back to voice Saw Gerrera. And if you didn't know, well, if you didn't know, you're living under a rock. But if you didn't know, Saw Gerrera was in Rogue One. He was also in the Clone Wars, but he was mainly in Rogue One. So that's why we see characters like Saw Gerrera or General Organa or coming soon General Tarkin, because all of these events that we're seeing play out in Star Wars Rebels will tie into Rogue One and play out. Because if you've seen Rogue One, if you haven't, what are you doing with your life? If you watch me, you know that's like my favorite movie of the year. So I suggest you go watch it right now. But anyway, if you've seen Rogue One, you can see that the Ghost was there during the battle on Scarif. So obviously, they were there when the events of Rogue One took place. So that's a very interesting thing, because it's all going to lead into Rogue One. So, yeah. So in the people in the future, if you collect Rogue One on Blu-ray, like I'm going to, and you're going to watch all the movies and TV shows in sequential order, watch Star Wars Episode 1, 2, watch the Clone Wars, watch Episode 3, watch this show, Star Wars Rebels, then watch Rogue One, then watch Episode 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Because that's how you do it, if you want to watch it in order. Alright, so going back to the review. So while Sabine and Hera are trying to... not Sabine and Hera. Sabine and Zeb are trying to bring this generator into the Ghost. They notice that there are droids all around them. And they're like the droids that put the shields up and then shoot at them. So they're trying to move slowly so that they don't activate those droids. And meanwhile, in the caves, Saw is like, well, there's a bug down here, and there's a bug down here, and he's controlling all the droids. So if we can find him, we can shut down the droids. So, you know, Ezra's like, alright, we gotta find this bug. And Kane's like, yeah, alright. So, yeah, they look for the bug, and, once they get to, like, this, to this dead end, right? This, like, dead end place. Hold on. Okay. Just a little better. There we go. It's a little better for me. But, yeah. When we get to the hole that they encounter, like, they see the bug on the other side. And so Ezra decides to jump, and then Kanan uses the Force to guide him where the pathway to the other side begins, so Ezra can chase down the bug. And then Kanan also uses the Force to hold a rock or a pathway so that Saw and Rex could go through. And since Kanan is a Jedi, he could just jump over there, because you know how Jedis can jump really far. But yeah, so they find the bug. Saw Gerrera basically, he goes hard on this bug. He's like, "What did you build for the Empire? Tell me right now." He goes in, and so once we get to that, it says to be continued, and then we jump into the next episode where Ezra and everybody else is saying like, "Saw, calm down. We gotta be friendly." And as you can see, Saw is not holding back, because I can tell he used to be a really different person before the Clone Wars happened. And now, like that he's lost his sister, now that he lost his sister during the Clone Wars, I could tell that really affected him. And that's why he acts the way he does now and in Rogue One. So, yeah. And one question I had while I was watching the episode was, does this take place before he meets the Ursos and he finds Jyn, or does it take place after that? Please let me know. So, By the way, Disney XD, or Lucasfilm, whoever works on this series, I beg you, please, before this series is over, I need a Jyn Erso cameo. She's like my favorite Star Wars character of all time. I need a Jyn Erso. I need a Jyn Erso appearance. Please. Okay, going back to review. So, they find the bug. Saw's interrogating them. The group says, calm down. Ezra tries to be friendly with him. And he's like, do you know what the Empire was building? Then, throughout the course of the episode, the bug draws a circle with it, another circle. And at first, I thought this was the Death Star. I was like, yeah, that's a Death Star. But no, it turned out to actually be like an egg from its species. And so, once they figure this out, they're like, alright, we gotta salvage this egg. Because without the egg, he's the only one left in his species. And so I was like, fine. And then, once the droids are the bug, alright. Alright. I can't edit this out. It's too funny. So, they get a signal to contact Hera, who is still on the Ghost. And, you know, Hera says, the Empire's coming, we have to go. And so, they're like, alright, let's go. But then, you know, the Empire ships come in, and the Ghost is going downward into the hole, so that they can retrieve, you know, Ezra and his group, and with Saw Gerrera. And so, they do that, and they're inside the ship, but then, Saw is just like a beast at this point. He doesn't care about anybody. And so, he points a gun at the egg that the bug had, and he's like, you give me the ship, or I will shoot the egg. And I was like, dang, that's crazy. Saw Gerrera does not care. He's like, give me the ship, or I will shoot the egg. And he's like, and Ezra's like, no, you can't do this. This is the only bug left of his kind. If you do this, you're no better than the Empire. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And he's like, yes, you're right. But then it's too late because the Empire is already here. And so these stormtroopers come down with their flying jetpacks and they're shooting at the Ghost. And then, you know, Ezra, Kanan, and Rex come out and they're deflecting the blast with their lightsabers. And then, the best part is that Sabine comes out. If you didn't know, Sabine is like one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. If you didn't know, my top 3 are Jyn Erso, Rey, and Sabine Wren. So, she comes out, she blasts every single one of them. She blows them up with grenades. It was awesome. It was awesome. And so they find out that this big Imperial ship is on top of them. So they got blasted. And Hera's like, he's like, Sabine, blast it with the torpedoes. And so she does that. The ship explodes. And then, you know, they're on their way. They're on their way. So they're basically like, woo! Okay. So, I also forgot to mention that before they went on the ship, the bug went in with its egg. And then they found these containers that basically was basically all the proof they needed to prove that the Empire was doing all of these horrible things to this species. And so they get it. They try to escape, like I said before, but the Empire stops them. And when they blast the ship with their torpedoes, the 2 canisters actually fall off of the Ghost, and they're forced to leave without it. So, yeah, going back to where I was before, the rebels basically feel like they failed because, you know, they don't have the proof that they were trying to get. But, General Organa basically says, alright, we can't prove to the Senate that, you know, the Empire doing all these things without those canisters, but we can at least bring on more people to the cause. And so the other general agrees with him. He says, you did well with the rescue of Saw Gerrera. And so they feel like they have won in that sense. And then Saw Gerrera says, you know, we have to prove this to everyone else. And then that's where the episode ends. So, it was a pretty good episode, and I love the fact that Forrest Whitaker came back to play Saw Gerrera. I love that. I love it a lot. Yeah. And it was just a high quality episode. So, yeah. Right now, I'm going to show you the reactionary parts that I did, and hopefully you like it. So, I'm SpyFan101 saying peace. Enjoy the reactions.